presentation. In Elements of Civil Engineering and Mechanics, we are dealing about a new concept which is known as friction. So far we have dealt equilibrium concept, and when you try to move an object, how to make a body into a state of rest. If any body is in a state of rest, how to move that object, or what is the amount of force which is required to move the object in which direction. So these things you can find out. And now in case of friction, this is a topic where during the practicality of moving any object, if you are moving from one place to another, there should be a friction in between your shoes and the surface. The surface might be a road, and there should be a minimum amount of friction in order to move along that object. So this force is known as friction. It is required for a person who is moving, or it might be for any moving object, which might be car, bicycle, or it may be a train or aeroplane. So if any object which is moving with respect to one object, what happens? The friction plays a role here. If you want to make any object into a state of rest, or if you want to move any object, we should know the concept of friction in order to overcome that. So friction is required. The sufficient amount of friction is required in order to use that. If there is 0% friction between your shoes and the surface, what happens? You get slipped. A minimum amount of friction is required. If the friction is more, we cannot move. Friction in engineering mechanics gives you a next level of understanding when moving into the practicality. Science becomes technology. If you identify the force and the behavior and the nature of the force, you can deal with it, you can handle with it, and you can play with it. So if you know the concept of friction, you can snow ride in skating. So this skating concept depends on friction. When two bodies are in contact, have a tendency to move over each other, a resistance to movement is set up. We shall start from here. See, you have a ramp and a box, and you can see the ramp and the box is also made of a same material. When you lift the ramp, what happens? The box slides at different rate of speed. The last box doesn't even move. So this concept is known as friction, and only thing is the material are same for the box as well as the ramp. Only the term friction, that is the surface of the two bodies, differs. And if you change the surface of this ramp into roughness, what happens? According to the friction between the box and the ramp differs, then what happens? If the friction coefficient is high, then the rate of movement of the object also affected. Friction of 0 for the first ramp, and 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and last one is 1. So this is the static friction of this material, and if the static friction of the material is increased, what happens? The movement of the object gets altered, and the reason behind the thing is friction. And the friction depends on these following parameters: the nature of surface of contact. If your surface contact is smooth, then your friction is reduced, or if it is perfectly smooth, so you will not have any frictional force. The friction always acts parallel to the surface of the contact. What is the angle of your surface? So if the angle is changed, also the direction of friction is changed. The friction opposes motion. So if you constantly increase the friction, it does not allow the object to move with respect to the object. So why we are oiling our two-wheeler, or it might be four-wheeler? If you oil your vehicle, what happens? The friction between the engine and the cylinder is reduced. If the friction is less, then the loss of energy is less, then you will get a better mileage. So why we are constantly changing our oil? In the sense, we have to reduce the friction between the engine and the cylinder. and if it is lesser, the vehicle moves in a smooth manner and you will have mileage. If you are having a corrugated road or a undulated road, if you are frequently driving in those area, what happens? Your tire gets smooth, and due to the wear and tear of the tire, what happens? It loses the grip. The friction is required at some places and the friction is not required at certain places. So we have to tactically use the friction here. If the friction is less or no friction, which would result in slipping of ground. These are the two examples which I have mentioned you. Yes, there is a technical term called limiting friction. So if you want to move any object, straight away, if you are moving the object, it has a resisting force. So there are two surface. There is a surface layer, that is a table, and a box is placed here. So if a B is moving this object up to certain amount of force, you will not get any displacement, and after the minimum amount of force and after it reaches the limiting friction point, then the object moved from one place to another. So this concept is called limiting friction. So this is a self-adjusting or opposing and resisting friction F, which opposes the sliding of motion one body over the other. So you can see a graph here. So in this graph, if you keep on increase the force in the object, so at a particular stage, this limiting friction, when it crosses, then the object tends to move. This limiting value of the force is called limiting friction. Before equilibrium, so you can see until this point, until that limiting friction point, this object was in a state of equilibrium. So when the limiting friction is crossed, then the object starts to move from one place to another. So if you want to make some object to move, or if you want to make the object into a state of rest, the limiting friction has to be known here and identified here. And when you come to the topic of types of friction, there are two major types, that is static friction and dynamic friction. When the object is not moving, it is in state of rest, you have a different type of friction, and this next type of friction is for moving objects. So constantly if any object is in under motion, then there will be two types of friction, that is sliding friction and rolling. This comes under dynamic, and based on the surface of contact, the friction is classified into dry friction and fluid friction. So the dry friction is for solids, and if two fluids are moving, or if one can be a solid, another can be a fluid. If these are the cases, then you will be having fluid friction. And if you pour any water in the surface, also you can check that if you pour oil in the same surface, so the friction changes according to the liquid, according to the resistance of the liquid and viscosity of the liquid. So the friction plays a role here. Even though your surface might be perfectly smooth, the liquid which is passing over the material creates some friction. So yes, let us deal that. And regarding static friction and dynamic friction, this is what I would like to highlight. If you observe any friction when the object is in a state of rest, which is called a static friction, and a friction which is being observed when an object is moving. See, the surface is constant here and the object is also a constant here, that is the same weight of the object and same person is carrying the object. Everything is same, the only one content which is known as friction, and we have certain laws of static friction. So in case of static friction, laws helps you to analyze and to resolve the solution of practical cases. Force of the friction, which will be always opposite to the direction of force. If you are riding a bicycle from one place to another in a direction, the friction will be opposite to the direction of movement. So this is the first law. And magnitude of the force friction is exactly equal to the applied force, which just moves the body. So if you apply 1 kilonewton force, the object is not moving. You increase from 2, 3, 4, and at certain point the object gets to move. So the limiting friction point. So at that point you can find the magnitude of the friction. This will be exactly equal to the applied force. So if you want to quantify the friction, you can indirectly quantify by using the amount of force which is being applied. Frictional coefficient, which is known as limiting friction. So this is also known as frictional coefficient. If you are placing any object in a surface, the object does have a self weight and the surface exposes a reaction. So this is known as force and reaction. So if you divide this, you will be getting a constant which is known as the coefficient of friction, and F is the limiting friction and N is the normal reaction. And these are the important points. The friction is independent of area of contact. So the area could be 1 square meter or 10 square meter. The friction does not depends on the area of contact. So it depends on the force, that is the weight to the reaction, and friction force depends upon the roughness of the surface in contact. Here the term roughness is important here. The friction force increases when your surface is rough. Next thing is law of dynamic friction. So the first law is similar to the static friction. When an object is under a movement, the first law is similar. The force of friction always acts in the direction opposite to that in which the body is moving. And this is the example which I have said. When you are moving with a bicycle, the friction is always opposite to the direction where you move. And next thing is the magnitude of kinetic friction. In static friction, you can see the term static, and in dynamic friction, you can see the term kinetic. Also, the kinetic friction bears a ratio, which is the force and the normal reaction, that is F by N ratio between the two contact surfaces, but the ratio is slightly less than the case of limiting friction. If the object is under a movement, the friction is slightly reduced when you compare with the static friction. When we are dealing with the problems, let us discuss this point. When an object is moving, the friction is slightly reduced and it is not zero. Still you have friction. If a train is moving in a railway track, for initial movement of the train, it requires a larger amount of force. So that is why when a train is moving, you can see amount of force which is being initially forced, and then during the movement of the vehicle, a different type of force is being applied. So friction also plays a role here, and friction force remains constant for moderate speed but decrease slightly with increase in speed. Yes. Next, let us come to dynamic friction. In that you have two types, that is sliding friction and rolling friction. It is also the resistance force which opposes the sliding motion of one body over the another body. So in between these two material, that is two objects, so you have a friction, and this friction is always opposite to the movement. So if they are dragging into the downward direction, the friction acts in the upward direction. And the next type is called rolling friction. You can see if you are riding a bicycle, you will be having a weight and your bicycle will also having a weight. So this weight is known as gravity, and which will be acting at downward. So it might be road or it might be any floor. So this floor gives a support. So this support is known as normal here. So this is known as normal or normal reaction. So there will be always, when the object is under a movement or it is under static, you will be having these two forces, that is force and the reaction. Okay. So what about the applied force? So you are applying some force by pedaling this bicycle. If the bicycle is moving at one direction, the friction will be acting at the opposite direction, and also you will be having an air resistance. So this is the free body diagram of your mechanism. If a person is moving with his bicycle, so if you want to identify how fast you can move, how much you have to pedal in order to move certain distance. So if you want to identify that, if you want to quantify that, you can use the equilibrium equation along with the frictional concept in order to accurately point out mechanism of the movement. And rolling friction is a friction between two bodies when one body rolls over the other. Yes, this is not only acting during bicycle. You can see if you are rolling chapati with a roller, if the chapati is sticking, you will increase the powder in order to reduce the friction. You can either increase the friction or decrease the friction. If the contact surface between the two bodies are dry, then the friction between the such body is known as dry friction. You can both the material are solid, and hence you will be having a friction which is called a dry friction. So there will be a weight that you will be having a opposite reaction. So that is normal force you will be having. If you are pulling this object towards the right hand side, the frictional force is being developed. Next thing is a fluid friction, the friction between two fluid layers or friction between a solid and a fluid. So if you are swimming in a pool, so you will be having a fluid friction. These are the different types of friction according to the state and the surface contact. And yes, so this is the law which is highlightable. So we have dealt the static law of friction and dynamic law of friction. The Amonton's first law states that force of friction is directly proportional to the applied load. So you can see a frictional force and the applied force. So both are equal and opposite up to the certain limit. If you increase the push force, the friction is equal. So up to the capacity of the friction of the surface, you can quantify your frictional force. And this law is known as the Amonton's first law. And the second law states that the force of the friction is independent of the apparent area of contact. This is the same block which is having different dimensions in this side. So you can see a smaller side and the larger side. So at both the sides the friction are same. The area of the contact surface does not affect the frictional force. So this is what the second law says that, and during the movement of any vehicle or movement of the object, the kinetic friction is independent of sliding velocity. So whatever might be your movement of object, the kinetic friction is independent on your velocity. So you can move with a speed of 10 meter per second, 20 or 50 meter per second. The kinetic friction is independent on that. During static, you can observe here by this picture, there is a larger amount of frictional force for static. And when the object is under dynamic, you can see a reduction of friction. So in y-axis, you can see friction, and in x-axis, the applied force. So up to certain point, when the object starts to move, you need a higher amount of friction, and when the object is under a movement, we can observe that a reduction of friction is being observed here. There is a coefficient which I have already mentioned. If you have any object, this object will have a self weight, and this is known as W, and this object will be placed at a surface or it might be hanged. So you will be having the reaction. If there is any force, you will be having a reaction. So that is called a normal. So the force and normal is written here, and if the object is under an action of force, that is P, you can find the friction by using this coefficient. So this coefficient is called coefficient of friction, which is indicated by the letter mu, and you can identify by dividing F by N. So F here is the frictional force and N here is the normal reaction. So if you divide this, you will be getting a coefficient, and this is the value which indicates the friction between the surface. If the coefficient of friction is greater, you can understand that you have higher amount of friction. So far we have not quantified any parameter. So we have just discussed what are the types of friction and how to quantify a friction. You need a coefficient. So this coefficient helps you to quantify in your mechanism. If the friction coefficient F by N is 0, then this is called a smooth surface. The term smooth surface can be generalized, and if you want to speak in terms of engineering or technological term, if the frictional force and the normal reaction is 0, then this surface is called a smooth surface. This is the constant ratio which the limiting friction F bears to the normal reaction N. So F here is known as the limiting friction, bears to the normal reaction N, where a body of weight W is in equilibrium under the applied force P and the frictional force F. Yes. Now in this class we have discussed what is friction and what are the types of friction. When you are moving into cases and problems regarding this topic, so these concepts will give you understanding of what you are doing and what you are solving in your problem. And I hope you enjoyed this session. See you soon. Happy learning. See you again.